We start our journey in Jim Thorpe, Pennsylvania.
Yep.
The bike train just left, and the regular passenger train for the day was pulling into the station. So I got out, and I filmed it.
I know.
When the train pulled into the station, the engineer invited me up into the cab. I did take some pictures up there, but they were very shaky. We got on the train and I took this film of the engine and the scenery. Jim Thorpe is a small town that used to be the second biggest tourist attraction in the United States behind Niagara Falls. The Norfolk Southern Main Line came through here, the former Lehigh Valley, and then we were riding on the Central Railroad in New Jersey. PQ Tower, the Reading line comes in. Well, the Central Railroad of New Jersey line to connect with the Reading. Downtown Jim Thorpe is right alongside the railroad tracks, and so is the parking lot. There is a small engine facility and train yard outside of Jim Thorpe for the Reading, Blue Mountain, and Northern Railway. The railway was built on top of Central Railroad in New Jersey, Lehigh Valley, Reading, and a couple other railroads trackage in the area, going as far south as Reading and as far north as Scranton, or Wilkes-Barre. PQ Tower is where the junction between the CNJ 2 Reading line is. PQ Tower was abandoned in the 1970s and is in horrible shape, as you can see here. The Lehigh River is right next to PQ Tower. The Lehigh River was very beautiful today and was flowing really fast. They were building a bridge to connect rail traffic from Allentown and Canada when we were passed by. And on the other side of the tracks, and the river, was the RDCs the railroad owned. Former Reading Company RDCs run along this line from Reading to Jim Thorpe daily. These RDCs were sitting there for a signal change as we had priority over them.
Those are the trains I want to see.
As we went behind the trees, the RDCs moved, but we did not see them.
I've actually never seen
We could very faintly see them, but the camera did not pick up on it.
Our train is now on the Coalport Bridge.
These are the Norfolk Southern tracks.
Now we are crossing over the former Lehigh Valley main line. It is double-tracked. This looks are deceiving, though. It is not double-tracked for Norfolk Southern. It is double-tracked for the Reading and Northern. One track is Norfolk Southern, and the other track is the Reading and Northern. We joined on to the Reading and Northern trackage, and I was very startled by this, as I thought we were joining a fast freight main line that would see hundreds of trains a day. But we only saw one train when we were there, and I missed it. I was in the restroom at Jim Thorpe when I passed by.
This is Norfolk Southern. We're on Reading and Northern.
The Lehigh River follows directly beside the train tracks as we were going down. We are right now passing it right beside Coal Tunnel. I did get another shot of it.
Coming up, alright? The waterfall is down along the tracks. I'll be right here. Get ready.
Near New Haven Junction siding, there was a waterfall. It was very beautiful.
See that big rock?
Yep.
We are now coming into the siding where we will be passed by the bike train. The bike train was the train you saw in the first shot. It goes all the way to the other end of the Lehigh Gorge Scenic Railway, drops bikers off, and they get to race the train on the way back to Jim Thorpe. The train will stop in the siding, then switch over onto the actual siding, and then let the bike train pass. It's a lot of switching. This is the bike train. It was going very fast, probably about 40 miles per hour. After the horn show and the bike train had passed, the engineer got down and switched the switch so it would go back to the mainline trackage. This was necessary as other trains would be on the line today. There's another waterfall on the way back. We're now going over the Lehigh River, about to see Cole Tunnel. Cole, Pennsylvania is a small junction where the old tunnel used to be. The tunnel was used until trains got too big to go through it. It used to be double-tracked. There's a little road here as the trail goes alongside it, the old trackage. There's a trail inside Cole Tunnel, too. We are approaching the Lehigh River again. This is right outside of PQ Tower, and a beautiful shot arose as we crossed over the Lehigh River.
Look on this side.
I freeze-framed it for a minute to show you, because I just could not stress to anybody I showed this to enough
Look at that.
how beautiful it was. I mean, just look at that. It's amazing. Anyways, after we crossed over the Lehigh River, I switched sides on the train and got another shot of PQ Tower. I'd always been interested in PQ Tower for reasons I don't know. It just seemed very interesting, and I always use it on one of my train simulator routes because I never knew where it came from and it was a real tower until today.
I'll give it to you if you go to buy that bridge. Just try
We are now coming into Jim Thorpe Yard. There was a lot of storage tracks that were filled by other cars, and a couple of miscellaneous Reading Blue Mountain Northern cars sitting around.
The coal pile to the right is used when we feed our steam engine, and it comes here for extra water.
We saw a couple of cabooses and miscellaneous cars here. It was pretty interesting to see how many cabooses the railroad had. There was 1, 2, 3, and a couple others sitting around on other parts of the railroad that we visited and on the other side of the tracks. I think the grand total was about 7 cabooses. There were a couple that we saw that I didn't get pictures of because we went past them pretty fast. There was a long line of reefers sitting there, so I cut the shot. The RDCs had been unloaded and put into the siding by the time we got back. They were idling there with their motors on. When we pulled into Jim Thorpe again, the train stopped, we unloaded, our group got in the car, and we drove off to Cole Tunnel and Port Clinton. The traffic jam this railroad causes is crazy. The parking lot, which goes all the way to the outer side of Jim Thorpe and on the other side of the station, was completely packed with cars. We had to park at the very end of the parking lot. It was crazy. Thank you, Lehigh Gorge Scenic Railway. We find ourselves in Cole, Pennsylvania. the vast majority of signals in this area gave way to a fencing that had been damaged. Cole, I named
here's
it
the
as
old
Signal
ties.
City, Pennsylvania,
Rock
for how many signals that were there. Anyways, the tunnel had been covered up.
ties are buried.
We climbed over it and into the tunnel. Most of the ties and rail plates actually were still there. As we walked through the tunnel, we saw the light at the end of it. Ha 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 ha. But anyways, as we got towards the end, we realized how much of a big drop there was at the end of the tunnel. The end of the tunnel was the end support for the bridge. There was a big fence there that was keeping people from jumping off because, yeah, we don't want that. The piers were still there from the old bridge, and it was a straight drop down. We now arrive in Port Clinton, Pennsylvania. There were some engines and some rolling stock sitting in storage there. The passenger depot was filled to the brim with passenger cars and some former Milwaukee full domes. There was some engines sitting on the side track too. The Milwaukee Dome. Then there was the railroad logo, some trucks sitting around, miscellaneous equipment, steam shops not too far away, and then some engines sitting in storage by the old sand tower. Thank you very much to the Lehigh Gorge Scenic Railway, Reading and Northern, and many others for making this the greatest day ever. We couldn't have done it without you guys and the volunteers. Thank you. Is this ASMR? Is this ASMR? Is this ASMR? Is this ASMR? Anyways, back to the video. For many years. Most of the ties were still there, and some of the rail plates too. Oopsies. I'm just gonna. So basically, what just happened, every peoples, is the camera fell down, and now I'm screaming into the microphone. So, the camera fell, hit the space bar, pause the video! Okay, I'm just gonna redo that.